Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? What's good? Hopefully everybody can hear me correctly. Holy Jesus, lots of people are in here already. Must be because the Leafs lost. Yeah, that was fun. That was a game to remember, that's for sure. It's good, everybody. Thanks for stopping in. Hey, listen, Audie, we still love you as well, even though you've been on me during these playoffs. But what's up, everybody? Hold on. Wait, how the hell? What am I? Oh my goodness, I haven't done this in a while. Yeah, it wasn't Gardner's fault or Nylander's fault, but you're right. Everybody's gonna make it seem like that. I mean, I find it hilarious that the first giveaway was by Dermott and nobody said anything. Yo, Jens, come on. Courtney, what are you doing? Thank you so much. I think I don't deserve that, but thank you. I appreciate the hug, and I think I need a hug more than anything right now, so yeah. It just sucks. You're too nice. Sorry, I still have to tweet out my video. Courtney, you're the best. Thank you very much. You didn't have to do that. Yes, I know. I'll get one. I'll get one from my lady tomorrow. Thanks, Courtney. Love you from a Bruins fan. Well, I love you as well. You know that. Matt, don't do that, bro. You don't want to die. Yeah, I know. Shay. It was brutal. Andrit, what's going on? Okay, I need to send this link out. Pizza Penguin 87. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. I do this for you guys. I come on here after a Leafs loss. Hopefully you guys will get a good reaction out of me tonight. Yeah, it was brutal, Shay. It was brutal. Hold on, guys. I can't see the comments right now. Courtney, you're the GOAT. Listen, you guys just being here to talk, I'm good. What I need is my people, you know? These are my people. That's all I need. All right, I'm going to – hold on, guys. I can't see your chat here for a second because I'm sending a message to a good friend of mine. All right. Oh, crap. I didn't bring my headphones. This could be a problem. The Crow 29, you're the best. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Hey, listen, I hope the Canes do well. Taylor, I've been great. I appreciate you being here as well, but I'm good. How are you? Yeah, somebody want to buy a McKinnon photo from LeafFan 1010? Sure, some collectors are in here. Why did Matthews only get 19 minutes? Yeah, Dangle's video should be real interesting. What's the opposite of a victory screech? It can't just be crying. I don't know. Selena, I don't know. Oh, my dog is speaking. Yeah, Dangle's video should be real good. Yeah, no. This one, it does look smaller. I noticed that, but I don't know. Maybe it's because it's the Stadium Series. Because I got it from an authentic, like it's not a fake jersey or anything like that. I don't know why, but like all the other ones look different. But I went and looked at somebody else's jersey and it was the same thing, and they got it from the arena. So I have no idea. Maybe it's just the stitching. Because I got it from Pro Image or whatever. Ryan Quinn, the goalie sucks. Which goalie? Both goalies were great. Yeah, no, people will definitely blame Gardner because he's the scapegoat. I've already taken a lot of flack. I've already taken a lot of flack for saying that Babcock needed to go. But hey, listen, that's just what people think. The stream's gonna be as long as I don't pass out, honestly, because I think I just need to talk. You know what I mean? Just need to. I just need to talk to my people. Sandine or Lil Tim up next year. Hopefully both. Yeah, I think Leafs Reddit definitely. They'd probably have a little bit of a problem. You got a Matthews jersey? That's dope. Gotta love Matthews. He showed up these playoffs. He was pretty good. He was pretty good. Yeah, out of everything, it's kind of funny. People are like, "Oh, well, they lost again." And the second they were doing the handshake, and I looked and I seen 51. I'm almost getting choked up. I was like, "This was Jake Gardner's last game as a Maple Leaf, most likely." Like that hurts. Like I'm a fan of the team. You know what I mean? So it sucked. I'm just excited for Old Town Road. Don't worry, that's gonna be a banger. Just wait. Oh my god, it's gonna be a banger. Boston didn't get lucky. They deserve to win. Yeah, I don't know about tossing Babs out of a plane, but yeah, Audie, definitely get that out of there. Respect to you guys from a Bees fan. You put up a fight. Always love a series with y'all. Yo, King Tut 2937. Appreciate you. Great series. Boston was much better, and in Game 7, of course, it was kind of back and forth. But respect to you guys, and good luck in round 2, man. It's gonna be a good series. Boston and Columbus is actually probably gonna be pretty good. Like now that I'm calmed down a little bit, I could probably enjoy that series. Gardner doesn't need to be gone. Okay, I'm gonna need to get headphones. I'm gonna be real annoying. Yo, wait, hold on.
Andrew, are you there?
Yes. Okay, sorry. Yo, okay, I gotta get headphones because you're gonna echo.
Yeah, I got headphones.
I'm gonna have to get them because you're gonna be
I
able
think
to
I have
hear
it
yourself,
connected.
or at least the stream will. Hold on, I'm gonna get
So
the
that
headphones. Talk to the people. I'll be right back.
All right. I don't know how many people I'm talking to right now, but my name is Steven, or you can call me Downtown Sports. I see Andrew's got some really nice jerseys in the background that I haven't seen before. But basically, if you can tell, I'm just wearing all my J stuff right now just to make myself feel a little better. I mean, I know it was 7-6. Rowdy Tellez hit the grand slam, and I'm trying not to talk about game 7 as much as possible, just because normally I'm a really like loud, ecstatic person, like over the top and everything like that. But it's a really different kind of mood. This this is one that you're gonna feel for a while and throughout the entire summer, right? Because we're not gonna get another crack at this until next April. And I mean, I tweeted that out and said, "Hey guys, you want to hear a joke? With 10 minutes left in the third period, we're probably going to be right here again, playing Boston next year." So I mean, I'm not really angry at anyone specifically. There's a couple of people that you can be angry at, and Babcock is definitely one of them. But I think that's too easy. Nazem Kadri is definitely another one, but again, I think that's too easy again.
There we go.
I mean, I was just going through the list of people that we can be angry at.
Oh, lots. There's a lot. Oh boy.
How are you feeling, Andrew?
Upset. Oh my god, I'm so upset, man. I'm not even gonna lie. How about you?
It's been a while since we talked, so I don't really know how you're feeling about things and this season and how things. I mean, to me, there's so many issues that we saw in this game that were happening in January,
Yep.
and it's just like nothing changed, nothing got fixed. The Leafs were playing at like an 89 or 90 point pace from New Year's onwards, and that's. I know everyone's gonna say, "Oh, that's about the time when Nylander signed and stuff like that." Well, I mean, it's hard to take a guy that's a huge part of your team and just chuck him in there and say, "Go." Right? It's going to take a little bit of time and stuff like that, but there were adjustments that weren't made, and then they were made with 7 minutes left in the game when you're already down by 2 goals, and it's just
Yeah.
like I would have rather you have not done it at all.
Yeah. No, there was a lot of things that just went wrong. Babcock, I don't know, man. I'm sure that's going to be a big discussion for a while now. Well, until Dubas says he's not going anywhere, you know what I mean? But God, I
Well, I mean, I was kind of saying it before the playoffs started. I mean, if we lose to Boston again next year, it's conference finals or by Babcock. Like there's certain expectations every year, of course, and you can afford to be a little bit lenient. But with 3 first-round exits in a row, you lose a little bit of that leash, and especially with the way that they lost, especially this series, because they can't even say, "Oh, the goalie wasn't even that great this year." Last year Anderson wasn't good, we didn't have Kadri. This year Anderson was the best player on the ice. He stood on his head every single game.
Yep.
You can't even have that to fall back on. So it's just like, okay, is it Austin Matthews' fault?
Nope.
No. Is it John Tavares' fault? No. Is it Morgan Riley's fault, the number one defenseman on the team?
Nope.
No. Are you gonna blame it on the depth? Like, that's such a lame excuse.
Yeah. I said in the video that Nazem Kadri, even though he's my favorite player, deserves some blame for sure. Because I mean, he hurt. If there was anything that went wrong with the depth, it was that the fact that he was out of the lineup. Because then you had Nylander playing with center blocks on his wings, and it's impossible to win when you've got Marleau and Brown playing with William Nylander, one of the guys that you want out there, being a playmaker. You can't be a playmaker with 2 center blocks, and it's just I don't know, man. It just wasn't a good situation. Right when Kadri went out, I went, "Oh God, here we go again."
No, I completely agree. Even watching Game 6 and everyone screaming on Twitter, "Oh, just flip flop the wingers on the third and the fourth line." I'm like, you know what? That's a good idea, but I'd much rather put Nylander with Matthews. And then I'm like, oh wait, they can't do it because
Yep.
they don't have Kadri.
Yep.
They can't do it because they don't have Kadri.
So
It messed everything up.
in your honest opinion, do you really think Babcock got a little bit I guess out coached, but do you think that he made a lot of really bad moves, especially in the last like 10 minutes of this game?
I mean, I think it was Austin Matthews had 5 third period shifts, and he only played like 18 or 19 minutes in this game.
Yep.
And a lot of the excuse when Austin Matthews doesn't get a lot of ice time is, oh, he doesn't play on the penalty kill. Oh, he doesn't play on the penalty kill. The Leafs took penalties. They didn't have any penalties in this game.
Yep.
So I don't know why he's under 20 minutes.
Yeah. No, it was oh God. Oh my God. When I heard that thing in the broadcast where they're like, in the last 4 minutes, Matthews has only been on the ice once. I was like, bro, tell me that was a joke. Like, is it April Fools? Like what is going on here? And then when they finally put Moore and Ennis with Nylander, then all of a sudden the next shift, Marleau is with Matthews, and I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. This has got to be a joke. Like, why is he playing with Austin Matthews right now?
I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm like, wait, hold on. Babcock did the thing. And then I'm like, oh shit, where's Marleau? And then the
Yep.
next shift, I see Matthews with Marleau. And I'm like, well, that doesn't fix anything.
Yeah, I was like, bro, you're telling me right now that this man's is playing Marleau with Matthews. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. I just need Vladdy Jr. in my life immediately so I can forget about everything else. I could just watch the Raptors in the playoffs. I could watch Vladdy Jr. hitting dingers for the Blue Jays. Oh my god, dude, what happened? What just happened, bro? Like, oh my god, I can't wrap my head around this, man. I don't know.
You know what? And I was talking with a really good friend who is a data tracker for the Mississauga Steelheads. He's refs some minor hockey, not like the OHL or anything like that, but like, like 12, 13, 14-year-olds and stuff like that. And he was saying to me, I don't know why everyone is mad at Babcock, because Babcock has done whatever Twitter has said. And I was thinking about that, Twitter wanted Muzzin with Riley. He played him there for a little bit. Twitter wanted Nylander with Matthews. He did that, and he was going to do that. They wanted Patrick Marleau not to play with Austin Matthews, and he did that. And they wanted Jake Gardner and Travis Dermott to play together. He did that. They wanted Garrett Sparks to play more, and he did that. But it's too little, too late, Mike. Like, you didn't make any adjustments game 1 through 6, and then you're going to start making them in game 7 when there's seven minutes left, ironically. And it's such a small little adjustment that I don't even know. And the other thing that really bugs me is that when Kadri first got suspended, I was thinking in my head, oh, that's cool. Maybe we could see Brocco in the playoffs. And I'm like, no, wait, they can't, because they already used up all their emergency call-ups on their defensemen. And I was just like, that made me even more mad, because it's just like we had Marinson and Hull just sitting there in the press box all year long, and now you're going to tell me that we used up all of our emergency call-ups on defensemen? It's like we've had 2 of them in the press box the entire year.
Yep.
And then other people talking about Josh Levo, I'm just like, okay, stop. There's too much shit in this pot, and I'm uncomfortable, and I just need to get out.
Yeah.
So I'm off Twitter. You're not going to see me on there for a while. I don't know. There's no easy answer.
Yeah, well, with Twitter, first of all, I've got a couple things to say before I dive into what you said. First of all, Twitter, I tried deleting it while I was on my mini vacation during game 2, I think it was. And I was like, okay, well, I'm deleting this, whatever. I hopped back on within 2 hours, so that doesn't work for me. Anyways, there's some Bruins fans in this chat right now saying salty and all this other stuff. Guys, I started my video I just posted by saying congrats to the Bruins. Like, there's no saltiness here. We're not even talking about the Bruins. You guys won. Congrats. You're on to round 2. You were the better team today. Great job. I don't know what else I need to say, but this isn't some sort of Bruins crap talking here. Like, we're actually, just talking about the Leafs. So, I mean, if you have a problem with that,
I don't think I've said the word. I don't think I've said the word Bruins once since I've gotten on this stream with you. I don't know about before. I wasn't watching. I was trying to get my computer to work, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you know what? The Bruins played great. They did.
I mean,
they took Kadri right out of the series from the beginning, and they took away that depth conversation. They tried to get at Morgan Riley in game 6. They took a Rask, had a bounce back year, much like Frederik Andersen did in the playoffs. Bergeron, Marchand, Pasternak are same old. They're younger players that are really good series. I know everyone was talking about Brendan Carlo and Matt Grzelcyk. And even I think, you know what? The Boston Bruins went out at the trade deadline and acquired Charlie Coyle and Marcus Johansson. And Marcus Johansson wasn't a factor in the series because he was sick and then he was a little bit banged up. But he's a good player. Like, he's a good, solid third-line player. And so is Charlie Coyle. And when you take Nazem Kadri out of the equation, it keeps coming back to Nazem Kadri, and it's always going to come back to him.
Yeah,
because it's a huge what if, and it was a what if last year.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's so many question marks, man. This honestly might need to be a podcast between me and you on the channel, maybe a series of podcasts. By the way, again, to the people that are in this chat right now, and I could see you guys. Don't worry. I read, and I'm not trying to avoid you guys here. Thank you, because I'm monetized on YouTube, which means that you are paying for shit for me. So keep watching these videos, keep going on the stream. Thank you. You're paying my phone bill right now. Thank you. I appreciate your views. Anyways, there was no Boston 8 here. They were the better team in game 7. So again, continue to pay my phone bill. Thank you very much. Anyways, yeah, we need to do this. We need to do podcasts throughout
Definitely.
the
I mean,
season.
I'm down.
Yeah.
It's almost like free therapy. You talk to me, I talk to you, and it works out eventually. Until the next thing that happens.
Yep, until we're going to be talking about Mitch Marner, probably his contract for probably the next 2 months at least.
You know what? For everyone saying that the power play wasn't that effective, they had a lot of looks. They had a lot of opportunities. They had that. I can't remember how much time was left in the third period, but there was that one where the puck just ticked off of the back of Rask and went wide. They could have easily have gotten that bounce. And I'm not even going to talk about the officiating in the series because the officiating has been terrible for the past 3 years. So I
Yeah.
don't really know what many people expected. And game 5, a lot of people saying, oh, Hyman, there was goaltender interference there. This is okay. Well, sure, that's a 50-50 call. And the offside call was a 50-50 call too. So it's just like this series and these two teams were so stupidly close that it was going to come down to that stupid Anderson first goal that just went. I don't know. I don't know how that goes in. I don't know how that goes
I
in.
know.
That's the difference. And that was always going to be the difference.
Yeah. No, that first goal was awful. Yeah, I mean, and you know what the funny thing is like Dermott gave the puck away twice in that shift. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, oh boy, Dermott's gonna get it on Twitter, and then I'm like, wait a second, Dermott never gets in trouble, so he's fine. And then of course Gardner gives away the puck, and I'm like, oh, here we go, the fiesta's coming.
You mentioned Gardner there, and we haven't talked about him. Wait, hold on a second. There's some people saying that we're complaining about the refs. We're not complaining about the refs. We just said that this was always going to be a 50-50 series, and it was always going to come down right to the wire. And that first goal on Anderson was always going to be the difference for either team. Tuukka Rask could have had a goal just like that, and that would have been the difference. I thought, but again, that was just one person. But anyway, like you mentioned Jake Gardner there. We just watched his last game as a Toronto Maple Leaf. How does that make you feel, Andrew?
I'm pretty upset about it, man. I'm a fan of the team. Like I mean, the thing is Courtney with another 10. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You're too kind. I really do appreciate you. If anybody wants to go and subscribe to Jens95, make sure to go and subscribe to her channel. You will not regret it. And I mean, she's got to be getting close to 100K, like over 80K already. So make sure to go and subscribe to her. I appreciate it. But getting back to Gardner, man, I'm just a fan of the Leafs, and I've been a fan of Gardner for years. So it does suck. I mean, he's gone. He's definitely gone. And I mean, somebody said goodbye, Gardner and Hainsey. Like, I mean, I'm not really upset about Hainsey going. So Gardner, though, like, I don't think people understand how much we're gonna miss Gardner.
You know what? Jake Gardner last season, I think a lot of people have this image and memory of Jake Gardner from last season, and that's the Jake Gardner that we're all going to miss because he had that 50-51 point season and he was dominant. And I miss the Jake Gardner from the Capitals series when they had that one game that went to double overtime and he played 40 minutes, something insane in that game. But Jake Gardner was not Jake Gardner for the last 30, 40 games of the season and in the playoffs. And I don't know if he'll ever be that, double overtime Jake Gardner again or 2017 Jake Gardner again. It's sad. I mean, I like the player. I mean, hey, I love him just as much as Nazem Kadri, but it's it's sad to see him go. And I mean, Hainsey, I mean, Andrew, I think you're going to be a little bit too hard on the old man there. There were so many people coming around with him on Twitter, posted pictures from the One Penguins parade when he was drunk in the streets, chugging beers and stuff like that, wearing dad jeans. It's
Yeah.
just, he grew on me just like that magical flow that he had going on for the back half of the season. He grew on me, and he didn't play that bad. I don't think he did.
No, he wasn't that bad. I can't say that I can't say that he was brutal, but I don't think that like there were some obvious mistakes that Hainsey and Zaitsev both made. Like I feel like they just give away the puck way too much, and that's the only reason why I really had any problems with Hainsey. But I think he actually had some really good games down the stretch, and in the playoffs he wasn't too bad. But I really hope that Babs doesn't go to Dubas and is like, come on, give me Hainsey for one more year at like $1 million. Like, I don't want that, man. Like, is there anybody else? Like, can we just get like Jay Bomeister or something? Like, is somebody else that could come over here? Like,
I think there's a lot of people in the chat asking about Marlowe and talking about Marlowe. I mean, that's sad. When Patrick Marlowe signed with the Leafs, that's a player that I loved. I loved him.
yep.
And then he scores 27 goals in his first year. I think he had 3 goals against the Bruins last year's playoffs. This year he was, strong for the first half of the season, and he played well, and then he just trailed right off afterwards.
Yep.
When the Leafs started struggling, Patrick Marlowe started struggling. I think someone said, I don't know the exact date, but he had like 3 goals since February or 3 goals since January.
Yep.
And it's just like that's a player that I hate to hate. That's for lack of better words. He's gonna. I don't know how they would end up getting rid of him or trading him. I feel really bad saying getting rid of him. I don't know how they would go about that.
Here's the options. First of all, Marlowe's got the no trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's already a
trade.
huge problem. Also, just quick, Leaf fan 1010. Colton Parayko's going nowhere. The Blues are a much better team now. He's not getting traded. Anyways, in regards to Marlowe, I think that you're going to see the young guys like Matthews and Marner be pretty upset if a guy like that goes. But if I'm Dubas and I'm like, you would almost have to sit down with Matthews and Marner and be like, listen, like if you want guys like Janssen and Kapanen to go, sure, we're keeping Marlowe. But like something's got to give, man. Like I don't want to be the guy to bring this up, but you got to think one or Janssen or Kapanen has to go. Like they don't have the money for all these guys.
I don't think so. I disagree. I think they'll find the money to keep Janssen and Kapanen and even Marner. I don't know. You look at a guy like Connor Brown, again, another guy that doesn't really produce offensively. Sure, he plays on the penalty kill and stuff like that. He's a valuable player. And you look at his resume and he scored everywhere he's been. But you look at the contract and you look at what you got out of him in this past season and in the playoffs, and it's just like, is Jerry Bracco going to do much worse? Is Pierre Engvall going to do much worse?
Yeah.
You get a little bit of savings there. You let go of Jake Gardner. Maybe you find something to do creative with Patrick Marlowe. You find something to do creative with Nikita Zaitsev. I don't know. That's a long Christmas list.
Yeah.
There. And there's only so many feasible options and realistic things that they could do. I think the most realistic thing and the easiest thing that they can do is trade Connor Brown. I don't know how much that really fixes or anything like that. I would much rather them find a place to ship Marlowe or Zaitsev off. But that's what the cap is. I mean, We're figuring out we haven't been legit contenders in the cap era, and we're figuring out it's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah. I think that the Leafs probably have a market to trade Zaitsev now. Like, At first, it seemed like there was nothing there, but with a couple pretty decent games down the stretch, and he looked okay in the playoffs for the most part, except for the giveaways. I think that there's teams that are willing to take on Zaitsev, but of course, there's going to be people that are teams that are probably going to be like, hey, listen, like you're going to have to give us something in return. Like you're going to have to give us like Zaitsev and a prospect and a pick, or a pick and Zaitsev, something like that, just so that way you can get rid of that contract. That's probably step one. I think Connor Brown's going to Edmonton. Like I think Edmonton's going to revisit that trade again. I think that they're literally desperate for anything, and the fact that Brown is so cheap and he's played with McDavid before, I think that they're willing to do that. So those are two guys I think that have to go. Like that's how you save money. I can't think of who else they would really get rid of. I mean, some people even said Hyman, but I can't see them doing that.
Hyman plays way too much. He plays way too much 5-on-5, way too much on the penalty kill. You know, he's like a second or third depth option on the power play for a net front presence. He's that shutdown guy. You can't get rid of Zach Hyman without having a replacement for Zach Hyman. I don't think there's many guys that are as crazy as he is. Right? There's not very many guys in the league that are wired like him that'll skate as fast as they possibly can in a straight line, right in on the forecheck or right back down on the back check. That's not a player that I'm looking to get rid of. And also, I mean, I don't know, like if you noticed, but the last couple of weeks, he's been making some plays.
Yeah.
He's been dishing the puck out real nice. He's been setting up some goals and stuff like that. I think he's coming around. The stone hands are just getting a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
He's I definitely not having, but I definitely agree with Connor Brown and Zaitsev.
Yeah. There's a comment in here from Doc Holiday that says Nylander, Gardner, Kadri, Ennis, Johnson, and possibly Kapanen will be gone next year. No, Nylander's not going anywhere.
Whoa.
Gardner is gone. Kadri, I think that it would have to take a pretty sick deal for them to get rid of him because, again, his contract is good. They're just going to have to tell him, listen, if you can't change, then, buddy, you're going to be traded the first time you do something else. Like, and I honestly think that'll happen. If he does one more thing, he's gone. Ennis is probably gone because he's going to get a significant raise. Janssen and Kapanen hopefully will be signed. I think they will as long as contracts are shed like Brown and Zaitsev and stuff like that. But again, there's a lot of Bruins fans in here, man. Like that's cool. Like we lost. Like there's no Bruins hate in here. We're just talking Leafs and what they're gonna do next. But yeah, no, I don't think that all those guys are going.
They're just looking for tears.
Yeah, you're not gonna get any.
They're just looking for tears. They're like sharks in the water.
Guys, relax. Like we're just talking hockey here. Anyways, yeah, no, all those guys are definitely not going. I think that people just think that they read one tweet from somebody who, the media is very good at making BS up. And there's a lot of Nylander haters out there. But again, I don't think that you've seen the full potential of William Nylander yet. And of course, people, oh, it's too late. No, it's not. He's very young. You're fine.
How many burner accounts does Brian Burke have?
Yeah.
And no, they're definitely not going to trade Nylander, especially like when we saw Nylander separated from Matthews. We saw Matthews laboring a little bit, and then he would put him right back there with Matthews, and they have an extra jump, they have an extra step. Nylander at center is an interesting idea. It's probably going to be one that they try out in the future, and it'll be similar to what the Blue Jays did with Joe Biagini as a starting pitcher, bullpen guy. Nylander will end up back on the wing, and he'll play the rest of his career with Matthews. So that's just the way that I imagine it in my dreams.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that people didn't understand that too. I was so confused when there was like some injuries there. I think it was like Kapanen, and then Nylander went to Matthews' wing, and then Matthews started lighting it up again. They looked good. And then Babcock immediately switched Nylander back, and I was thinking, what the hell? Like, why are you switching this up? Like, Matthews and Nylander need to play together. Like, I don't think people understand that. Like, Matthews and Nylander are much better when they're together. Like, it's such an easy concept. I don't understand how people don't know that. Also, there's comments in here, like, there's already been tons. We've seen it, that Nylander sucks, all this other stuff like that. No, you're wrong.
The whole team was bad.
Like, oh boy.
The whole team didn't show up. They didn't show up in game 2. They didn't show up in game 4, I believe, till like halfway through. They didn't show up in game 6 pretty much at all, right into the last couple of minutes. I mean, and when you got Marleau and Brown stapled to you, especially with the way that they were struggling recently, I'm not even going to say that Brown and Marleau are bad players, and I'm not going to say that Nylander's a bad player either. I thought Nylander played okay, just okay. Yeah, famous last words of Randy Carlyle.
Yep.
Just okay, but yeah, but I'm also not going to defend him too much because he definitely could have been better.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
But at the same time, I don't know what people really expected. There was a really good comment in the chat from Sanjay asking us what we expected after they lost game 6. What was your mindset going into game 7? What did you think was going to happen? What did you expect from the manager?
I mean, I expected a better effort. I mean, there definitely was the effort definitely wasn't fully there. I think again, like I have to be honest, like I really think that they were out coached, and until you get your line set up to the point where you have the best optimal lineup possible, then you're not gonna win games. Like I honestly think that it came down to a lack of effort and being out coached, and so I expected them to just show that extra bit of effort that you need to in the game 7, and they didn't bring it. 5-point vids. Thanks for checking out the stream. I'm sorry this happened. I had you picked all the way. Should have banned Drake. Everybody check out 5-point vids. Thank you very much. that little Drake thing at the end there saved me a little bit. That's funny. Yeah, Drake needs to never come back to a Leaf game. Anyways, what did you expect? Like sitting down watching that game, were you like, okay, we're going to round 2?
You know what? I was really hoping that we would, but I was very pessimistic about it because I don't really know how to describe the way that I was feeling. I was just feeling like okay, like there was a point in the season when the Leafs got down by 2 goals, the game was done. And you felt that and you knew that. And there was a time last year, earlier on in the season, when they kept doing that dump and chase game, and they got down by 2 goals, and you knew the game was just done.
Yeah.
For me, going into game 7, I felt like I was playing dump and chase with myself. You know, I was flipping the idea in, we're going to the second round, and then, I was going in to go get the idea, and it just wasn't there.
Yep.
Because especially when I saw that there was no adjustments. There's no adjustments. There was no nothing. But then, again, that goes back to what adjustments did you really want Babcock to make? Because you can't reunite Matthews with Nylander because there's no catcher. And you can't put Marleau at center because he's already laboring and already not playing too well.
Yeah.
You can't. The one thing that I did find unacceptable was Frederic Gauthier playing in the 3rd period, and they're down by 2 goals. And he's not a bad player, but it just doesn't give you anything. He doesn't move the needle at all.
Yeah, I know.
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with him, but not when you're losing Mike.
Yeah, I think he played like over 8 minutes tonight. Like, I mean, that's a little too much. Like, I'm sorry. In a game 7, bro.
In a game 7.
Oh boy. Oh, Nyquist. Everybody go subscribe to Nyquist. And he commented, the Bruins to the Leafs are like LeBron to the Raps. Unfortunately, that is very true.
And that's another thing that I said earlier. We're probably gonna be right back where we were again next year.
Well, yeah,
TD
because the
Garden,
format is not
Boston,
changing. So,
Game 7.
yeah, again, Bruins fans, I have to keep saying this. For some reason, a lot of Bruins fans are coming in here and talking smack. Listen, guys, I have nothing against the Bruins. Congratulations. I have to keep saying this. You're going to round 2. There is nothing here for you guys when it comes to hate. We are just talking about the Leafs and what happened in the game. So, Bruins fans, thank you for disliking the
I don't like
video.
that air horn that they have in
Thank
their
you.
arena.
I appreciate it. Um, yeah, no, this is gonna honestly, and I said this before in a video, and I'm gonna say it again because I'm gonna be recording a lot of videos on the Leafs, of course. But this has got to be the most important off season for a while. Like,
There's going to be a lot of interesting questions in training camp because there's some guys on the Marlies that are yet to make their mark on the Leafs and yet to make the next step, and that players were expecting to have an impact that could really fill in the holes that we're complaining about, that could really fill in the holes uh, of players that are probably going to end up leaving this offseason. Like you look at Connor Brown and then you look at Pierre Engvall, you know, those are two types of players that play a very similar style. Can Engvall make that next step next season in training camp? We'll see. Sandin and Liljegren, I know a lot of people are really, really kind of hoping and praying that these guys are going to be the answer on the blue line. And, we'll see. They're both extraordinary players for their age, and they're only going to get better. But the way that I see it is this team has so much talent on it already as it is that you have to ask yourself, does Mike Babcock have what it takes to use this talent properly, to use this talent, effectively? Is he getting the most out of this group? When does he go down to Arizona this summer to visit Austin Matthews to talk about, the strained relationship? When is there a players only meeting in Hawaii or Cuba with Anderson and Riley and Matthews again? When is that going to happen again? Because it just looks like we're going down a road where things are just going to repeat and it's just going to be a circle.
yep.
I think Babcock has his toys, and you either take those toys away from him or you let someone else play with the toys.
Yeah,
You know,
I think that there's going to be problems this offseason between Dubas and Babcock because I think Dubas is going to start taking away those toys. Like, I think it's not going to be one at a time either. Like, he's going to take 3 or 4 guys away from him and say, now you're forced to play the guys that I want you to play. These are the guys that should be in the lineup. And he's not going to have much of a choice. And again, people in the chat, I don't want you guys to get this twisted. This isn't a let's hate on Babcock live stream. We're not blaming everything on Mike Babcock. There's a billion things that we can talk about. But the biggest narrative is this Leaf team has Marner, Tavares, Riley, Matthews, Nylander. They have talent out the ass. They've got an amazing number 1 goaltender in Freddie Anderson. Like, what's got to give? Like, who else do you need to improve this team? And next year, Muzzin will get a full year with the Leafs as well, which is very good. You'll have another great defenseman in there. Next year, you're probably going to see guys like Rosen get a lot of time because he's on a really cheap deal. Moore's going to be a full-time Leaf. Maybe I honestly think Sandin's going to make the team next year. I can't see how that guy doesn't make the team. I really think they're invested in him now. Or Liljegren. I mean, people seem to forget. Like Dubas said this year that without that injury, Liljegren was getting called up. Like they were going to try him out.
he was going to have the same opportunity that Kapanen did when he got called up 2 years ago, and he ended up playing in the playoffs in that Washington series and ended up scoring the double overtime goal and stuff like that. But yeah, he got injured and he didn't get that opportunity. And the interesting thing is that Sandin was even better than Liljegren, but he's just too young. I see one person in the site saying that the Leafs need a Tom Wilson.
Nope.
It had nothing to do with grit. It had nothing to do with grit or toughness or anything like that.
Nope.
Um,
Let's just be hypothetical here. Let's just say the Leafs want to go after a defenseman, which, and again, I know people are saying it in the chat, and this guy named my boy 051 is saying Leafs need defense. Yeah, trust me, dude, we know. Trust me. Anyways, hold on, I just had to quickly hide that user as well. Anyways, what do you think is going to happen? If there was a defenseman out there that you think the Leafs could target. Now, keep in mind, a guy like Trouba might be on his way out of Winnipeg as well. Like, would that intrigue you? Like, would you trade a Janssen, Kapanen plus to get a guy like Trouba? Like, obviously, it would take much more than that, in my opinion, at least. You'd have to sign him to a deal, which would be quite expensive. So salary would have to be going the other way, too. Like, do you think that the Leafs need to go out of their way to get a defenseman?
I think they already went out of their way to get a defenseman in Jake Muzzin. And I think if we look at the moves that Kyle Dubas made, is that he's made an emphasis on promoting from within. He's made an emphasis on giving Marlies players an opportunity in Trevor Moore and Andreas Janssen and Calle Rosen and Travis Dermott that I really think that the Leafs already got their defenseman via a trade. And unless you're moving a Nazem Kadri or a William Nylander, and Nazem Kadri is more likely of the two, but still not very likely at the same time, you're not going to get a defenseman that really intrigues you, right? If you're going to throw the fishing rod into the pond of defensemen, you're not catching a Jacob Trouba or a Colton Parayko or a Brett Pesce or Dougie Hamilton or any of those kind of guys, which is the type of guy that would really help the Leafs and would really strengthen them if you're not dangling Andreas Janssen, Kasperi Kapanen, or William Nylander. And I'm not ready to do that just yet because those are two players that I still think have more to give. And if you trade those guys, it's just going to leave a huge hole in the lineup. Kapanen more so than Janssen because Kapanen plays on the penalty kill. But I don't think that's the answer because you're adding, but you're also subtracting. It's messy. I think what I want the Leafs to do is I want the Leafs to give their players an opportunity. That's Babcock's famous word, opportunity. That if you're not going to give your own players an opportunity, what's getting this other guy going to do? It's the same thing when they acquired Jake Muzzin. He said, well, he's a left shot defenseman. We already got 4 of those. It's if you go out and trade for a guy, there's no guarantee that he's going to gel with the team. There's no guarantee that the coach is going to like him and stuff like that. So I think it's just a lot less messy to promote from within. And you know what? That's what I was saying. Everyone's freaking out before the trade deadline that, the Leafs are, only 3 points up on a playoff spot or they're not playing too well. So I reserve my criticism for the team until after the trade deadline because the games after the trade deadline, to me, tells me what the team is going to play like in the playoffs. So I'm okay with just being, the third place team in the division up until the trade deadline because I know that the team can find another level after that. So if we have to wait to see Sandin or Liljegren till the trade deadline, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm definitely okay with it, mainly because and also Joseph Duzak, the guy that they signed out of college. Do you think that he's probably a couple years away too, right?
He's probably a couple years away as well. He's playing on a line with Mac Hollowell with the Marlies right now in the playoffs, and Mac Hollowell, I think, is a name that a lot of people should be watching in the Marlies playoff run, especially now that the Leafs are out. He's a guy, my buddy that's the data tracker for the Steelheads, was really, really high on him on the couple of games that he's watched and he's tracked. Dubas is really, really high on him, obviously being a Sioux Greyhound guy and a guy that they picked up. He's a right-handed shot. He's very similar to like a Travis Dermott, almost. And if you keep developing guys like that, again, there's no reason to sign a contract like the one that Nikita Zaitsev has.
Yeah.
You should be able to develop defensemen like that in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Not sign them to 7.
What about okay, so what about was it Adam Fox from Carolina? Because he's probably going to be on his way out because he didn't he say like he wasn't going to come back to Carolina, like, or he wasn't going to sign a contract there, or was it Calgary?
Well, it's not that he's not going to sign a contract there, is that he's going back to Harvard to play out his senior year
To become an unrestricted free agent.
Right. That's also another thing that's going to happen for him. But he's going back. He's getting his degree. He's playing another year of college hockey, and then he'll probably get signed in that little window gap before the playoffs start after the trade deadline, and he'll play for a team. You know, they'll end up burning a year of his contract just like that, and he'll play. I don't know because I've never watched him play before or anything like that. I know that he's really highly touted. I know that Calgary was really high on him, and they just kind of threw him in as a throw-in piece in that trade. And now Carolina is not going to see that return on that investment.
Yep.
I think that the Leafs have it from within. Like they have Callie Rosen, they have Sandine, they have Liljegren. I think before you go and sign a guy to a contract or trade assets for a guy, I think it would be better on the team to give those guys in-house an opportunity first.
Yeah, Robinson Joe, I think that you're forgetting the fact that next year is still a thing. Like the Leafs have to play next year, and they're losing Jake Gardiner, and I don't think people understand that's a huge hole to fill. Like it's not just going to magically happen that they're just going to fill his spot. Ron Hainsey's going, and I'm not a big fan of the guy, but that's still a guy that you need to replace. So your defense right now next year is literally Riley, Muzzin, Dermott, Zaitsev, and whoever else. Like you need to
and
fill those
maybe
holes.
not even Zaitsev.
Yeah, and maybe not even Zaitsev because he's a guy that could get dealt. So the options right now are Liljegren, Sandine, Rosen, Borgman, Hall, Marinson if they keep him around, whoever else. Those guys, you know, you're hoping that a couple of those guys make a good impact. Rosen's probably going to be an everyday Leaf because of his contract. But again, Liljegren and Sandine, you hope they come up. But I still think that the Leafs have it in them to at least grab one defenseman, even if it's not a top-tier guy. I really think Carolina and Toronto have unfinished business when it comes to a trade. They've been talking way too much for nothing to happen. I really think Kapanen might go to Carolina. I really think it's something that could happen.
It definitely can, but I'm gonna fight you on this. I'm gonna fight you on it. It's
Okay.
not something that I'm willing to explore until the trade deadline, because then we'll know if Liljegren or Sandine are ready to make that next step by then. And if they're not, that's fine. I wouldn't want to rush those guys. Go ahead and make a trade, make some kind of a splash, right? You have to give something to get something. Obviously, the next year's first round pick could be at dangle, but you don't want to become the New York Rangers where you're trading every first round pick away, and then you end up collapsing, or the Tampa Bay Lightning where they got a lot of questions this year and then got no picks, or the Columbus Blue Jackets where they have no picks and a lot of questions up in the air. I mean, the Leafs aren't in bad shape.
No, they're definitely not.
Shape. It's not as bad as people are making it out to be. I think a week from now, people are going to calm down, and we're going to realize that this team still has John Tavares on it. It still has Mitch Marner on it. It still has Nylander and Matthews and Riley. And everyone's going to calm down a little bit because there were mistakes this season and this playoffs that happened last playoffs. And I don't think Kyle Dubas is the kind of guy to let those mistakes go by and not learn from them.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
So there's definitely is going to be some kind of a change.
Yeah, and Robinson Joe, you're not understanding what I'm trying to tell you here. I'm not saying that the Leafs defensemen in the minors are trash. That's literally I literally never said that once, ever. I'm not saying that they're trash. I don't think any of those guys I mentioned are trash. But keep in mind, all those guys aren't just ready to make a jump, and they're not all going to do it at once. And is Babcock going to let that happen? Hell no. he's going to tell Dubas he wants guys with experience in the lineup to start the season. That's just how it's going to go. He's going to want guys that are actually have been there and done it before he lets all these young guys come in and do their thing. Like Babcock probably had a minor stroke when all those Leaf young guys came up at once because he was like, oh my God, where are my experienced guys? Because you can't just let all these young guys come up at once. So it's going to be a little bit of a process. And I still think in my heart of hearts that they are going to do something probably before the draft, maybe even at the draft. They're going to pick somebody up. I really think it's going to happen. I can't see how they don't make an upgrade on the blue line. And one of those blue line pieces might be included in a deal. We'll have to see because there were rumors that Liljegren was available in trade talks. So I'm just going to put that out there because I don't think the Leafs are as high on him as people think.
There's that one Kermit meme where Kermit's in the shower, just kind of like all huddled really close together. That's Mike Babcock with Patrick Marleau and Ron Hainsey.
Exactly.
Doc Holliday saying, did anyone catch Commodore's comments on Babcock? I mean, I don't have to look at them to know what he said.
Yeah, we definitely know what he said. By the way, hello, Isabel. How's it going? Thank you for joining the stream. But yeah, no, I'm not going to catch Commodore's comments.
You know, Mike Commodore is one of those guys on Twitter that's not really affiliated with anyone that really, really wants to be. So anytime he gets an opportunity to take a shot at a big name, and especially when everyone's already jumping on Mike Babcock, he's going to come chugging in on his own train saying something. I don't have to see those comments to know what he said. And I would acknowledge them, but they're not constructive at all.
Yeah.
Right. Like we could criticize players, but let's try to be constructive about it. Let's have, at least some kind of a positive opinion. Like if you're going to say Nylander's trash, like, okay, that's fine, but at least point out things that he does well. He wasn't that great in this series, but there were positive things about William Nylander this series that a lot of people critiqued him over, about how he's too soft, or about that one being the main thing. There was a lot of times when he was winning puck battles on the boards, and I was just like, oh, that's something that I haven't seen William Nylander do before, and I'm really excited about that. Doesn't that make you excited about a 21-year-old player showing some development? Like, it's all hope is not lost.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of things to be excited about with this team still. Like people are acting like the window is closed. Like the window is wide open. I don't think people understand. Yeah, I love Trevor Moore, Isabel. I think that Moore has shown that he's a full-time Leaf and he deserves to be.
I adore Trevor Moore. Especially like if you want to talk about like a lunchbox kind of guy, the kind of guy you walk by the water cooler in the morning and give him a little snazzy snap and say hello to him. That's Trevor Moore. That guy has battled everywhere he's been and earned every single inch of ice that he's gotten.
Yeah.
And I really want to see him play next to Matthews next year. I don't know about you.
That would be.
I'm really hyped. I'm really hyped for a more Matthews Nylander line.
Yeah.
And then you could throw Janssen, Kadri, and Kapanen together. That's nasty.
Yo, what about Bracco?
I don't know. There's way too many options. I'm getting
Kapanen for a defenseman and bring up Bracco.
Ooh, no.
Do it.
Stop it.
Also, Butcher in the chat says, Andrew, I know you don't drink, so I'm gonna have an extra baker's dozen just for you, buddy. Butcher, salute, buddy. You drink away, bud. Love you, bud. me and Butcher had some beef at one point. Now he's my brother. All right, so he's gonna drink for me tonight. I don't know how they blew it, Butcher, man. I don't know. I don't know. Oh God.
A lot of people asking, is Mike Babcock going to get fired? Probably not.
No, probably not.
I think you give him an opportunity to make some changes and to show that he's not the coach that people are saying he is. And I don't think Mike Babcock is the kind of guy that has to prove anything to anyone. because he's been there and done that already. But there is something to say to his critics. Can he get it done without Pavel Datsyuk? Can he get it done without Nicholas Lidstrom? Can he get it done outside of Team Canada? And the Leafs were that challenge. He's already accomplished everything except for something like the Leafs. So if he really wants to make his mark as one of the best coaches in the league or all time, he's going to have to stick with this Leafs team and figure something out.
Yep.
I bought his book, the one that he wrote on the 2014 Olympics.
Me too.
And his mindset about things. And there was one thing that really stuck out to me in that he said that there's always pride in trying. He says, okay, Mike, that's true. And I really admire you for saying that. But let's try something different. Let's try something new. Let's get some kind of a new trend or some ideas going here. Go back to Saskatchewan. Go back out on the lake. Sit by the fire. Just imagine Moore, Matthews, Nylander together and come back and do it. Come back and do it. That's it.
Yeah, but he'll come back and be like, oh, Hyman, Matthews, Marleau. Oh,
he'll be sitting around the fire and Patrick Marleau's ghost will appear before him. He'll have a huge epiphany and he'll just run out and call Kyle and be like, I'm not ready to leave this player.
And then he'll be like, first pairing, it's got to be Hainsey and Marincin. Oh my God.
It's a really interesting question with what happens with Martin Marincin. I mean, only in Toronto could you have a 20-minute conversation about the eighth defenseman on the team. But, I mean, we could possibly lose Ron Hainsey and Nikita Zaitsev this season. There are main two penalty-killing defensemen. Martin Marincin kills penalties, and that's really the only thing that he's good at. Does he see an increase in ice time next year?
No, hell no. I think he's gone. I think he's gone.
Okay.
I wonder how excited the Leafs would be if they got rid of Zaitsev and tried to hold on to a guy like Gardner, man. Like, I wonder if the Leafs are thinking about it. Like, if they got rid of Zaitsev and they were like to Gardner, yo, just one last ride, 1-year deal, improve your value because you're going to probably have some back surgery in the off season. Take this money right now, a little bit of money, and play amazing for us this year. Let's make a run and then go get your money in free agency. Or do you think that he's done enough that he's going to get his money?
I think that he's done enough that some team will give him some money, probably not all the money that he hoped he would get. But I really think that if you're the Leafs, that you have to look at Brent Seabrook in Chicago and you have to learn to let go.
Yep.
You have to learn to let go. Just let go. I love Jake Gardner. He's given us a lot of memories. He'll definitely be one of the most interesting players in Toronto sports history over the past 25, 30 years that no one understands. And he'll always be that guy that when you're at the bar, you can get into a huge fight over him, or on the playground or in the hallways at school. But just let go of him. Let go of him the same way that we had to let go of Caperley. Just let go.
Yeah.
And that's not letting him walk to the Bruins, by the way, and then winning the cup. But just let him go.
Yeah. There's a comment in here that says that they should trade Nylander and Kadri for Justin Falk. Might I let you know that would be the worst trade in NHL history? Falk is absolutely terrible defensively. I'm not sure where that would even come from. Like, that would be an absolutely awful trade. Yeah.
Like, even like the thing is that the Leafs can go out and get, a top pairing defenseman, but you need to find the ice to make him valuable. Like, when Nikita Zaitsev came over in his rookie year, he was the defenseman on the second power play unit, and he put up quite a bit of points. But then they went away from having two defensemen on the power play, and they were only having one. So then it was only Morgan Riley and Jake Gardner. And then Zaitsev was signed to this big contract, and you just took one thing that he was, effective at, and you took that away from him. So it's like, what value does he really have now? And then he was kind of thrown into a penalty killing role and stuff like that. So if you're gonna go out and get a guy like Justin Falk's strength is the power play, and we already have Riley, we already have Muzzin, we already have Dermott. Justin Falk is not a fit for this team.
Yep.
We need somebody that could kill penalties.
Yeah.
You know, if that.
I mean, I wonder if the Leafs will go over to Philly maybe and revisit a Gudis thing. I still think that the Leafs are gonna trade for a defenseman. I really think that they don't want to have to dip into their money and go into free agency. Like, I actually think that they'd rather see if they can get rid of some salary, or maybe even just acquire something through trade just to see where they're at. Here's what I'll say. If you see a trade before the draft, you'll know that the Leafs aren't ready to bring up those young guys.
If I see a trade before the draft, I would have to assess the trade, but my first reaction to that trade would be that it's a panic move.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm going to keep fighting you on this, Andrew.
Okay.
We got to really wait till the trade deadline before we can really justify trading all those assets and moving those things out. Because like we saw with Kampanen 2 years ago, he came in just before the deadline, and so did Dermott the year before that, and they were really effective players. Let's give those young guys an opportunity to at least be that. You know, a trade before the deadline for a major defenseman would be the equivalent of acquiring Jonathan Bernier the year after the first Game 7 collapse.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm stupid. But
no, you're not.
I really just want to wait.
So there's a comment in here that's very interesting to me. The account is Brock Besser, which he's been on the channel before, and it's obviously not the real Brock Besser, but if it was, that'd be pretty dope. Trade for Chris Tanev.
No.
Okay, tell me why. Tell me why.
He's
cheap.
How old
Won't
is
cost Kapanen. Won't cost any of our good players. Would cost a draft pick. Cough, cough.
But you see, I don't feel like we can have a logical conversation about Chris Tanev with Canucks fans present, because it's the same thing with Alex Edler. They want way too much.
I don't know about Tanev, man. I don't know if they would be able to get. See, that's the thing. He's very injury prone. That's a huge problem. Is that he's very injury prone. Eric Branson, not a chance. If he came to Toronto, I might consider never watching again.
You'd see all those autograph jerseys in the background, just packed up into a box.
Yeah, I'd be like, well, see you guys later. I'm out.
Where'd you get those jerseys?
I met all of them.
You met all of them?
Yeah. See,
did you slip
exposed,
like Marner
exposed,
a note?
Downtown Stephen Brown exposed. I made a video on it and he didn't watch it. Exposed. He's exposed.
No. I watched the video where you were skating around on the ice. I watched that video. You like live streamed the entire thing.
Yeah. No, I'm just joking. But I was at the Leafs training camp and I got the Matthews All-Star Game jersey signed. I got the Riley jersey signed, the Tavares and the Marner, all of them signed. Then Riley was at the live skate. Marlowe was at the live skate. My Matthews. Oh man, I'm confused now. No, okay. The Matthews one, this one here was signed at the training camp. Tavares and Marner were also signed at the training camp. Connor Brown's jersey was signed at the training camp. And then my Matthews All-Star, my Marlowe jersey, and my Riley jersey were signed at the live skate. That's how it goes. But yeah, they're all signed and I'm very blessed to do it, but it was also for charity, the live skate, so that was really cool. But yeah, no, if one of those, like if Goodbranson or any of those guys got traded to the Leafs, I think I'd be pretty pissed off.
Like out of the teams that have been eliminated so far, maybe you can try to help me like remember all the names here. You got the Predators last night, and then the Leafs, Calgary, Pittsburgh, Winnipeg. Let's just talk about those 5 teams right now. Which team is in the most panic mode right now out of those
Winnipeg.
5 teams. Winnipeg is one of them, but I'm gonna go ahead and say Pittsburgh as my pick because I think it's the beginning of the end for them, and not because of Crosby and Malkin getting older, but because of the players that they have on their roster and the contracts that they have. Like that's what my whole point is that there are teams in so much worse position, and that I'm not really that concerned. I don't know.
Yeah.
Am I being, am I not angry enough that this is the third game 7, the third time in Boston
Yeah.
that they do this to us?
Yeah. Oh man.
I don't know. I'm not mad.
Yeah, the Leafs are definitely making the playoffs next year. I mean, some people are saying Jim Burton says no, but I think that's ridiculous. The Leafs are definitely making the playoffs next year. It's gonna be a much better season, honestly. And I know people are like, oh, next year, this like guys, let's be real here. If the Leafs make a couple really good changes this year on their blue line, especially, this team is 100% going back to the playoffs. And of course, we've got some more Bruins fans in here. Yep, congratulations, you played yourself. You're out of there. Like they're getting Jim. You're absolutely sorry, man, but you're absolutely psychotic if you think the Leafs are not making the playoffs next year. Like absolutely psychotic. They are
Well, I
definitely
mean,
making the playoffs.
who would really challenge them?
Yeah, who's
Montreal,
overtaking them?
Florida.
Yeah, no, Jim, man, I like you, Jim, but they're definitely not missing the playoffs.
I think the boring answer is that the solution is already on the team. The solution is in the guys that you have on the team right now. I think the reason why I'm not so angry is because there were a lot of questions answered this year. Is Morgan Riley going to make that next step to be a number 1 defenseman? Yes, undisputed number 1 defenseman.
Yep.
Is Frederick Anderson a problem in the playoffs? No.
Nope.
No, he's not. Is Austin Matthews going to show up come playoff time? Yes, he did. And when he did, he was undeniable. Every single shot was godlike. Can Jean Tavares live up to the hype? Yeah, he definitely did with a 47-goal season. Is Mitch Marner going to take that next step? Yeah, he did. The only question that was not answered is Nylander. And that's going to sting. It's going to sting, but I think we'll get that answer within the first couple of months of next season, and it'll be fine. But I mean, it's a really boring answer to say that the solution is already on the team and already in the organization, because it kills that little kid in you where you're on NHL and you're trying to fix the team with all those trades, and you trade 19 first-round picks and you have every single scoring leader for the past like 3 or 4 years, and you're just like, all right, go for it. It kills that little kid in you, but I really think that the solution is already on the team.
Yeah, there's Edge Echo said like there's a lot of comments on Nylander saying that they should trade Nylander for something like a D-man on the Hurricanes. There's a lot of people saying Nylander needs to go. I promise you, next year William Nylander will have his coming out party and will be unbelievable for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And this isn't me just being like, "Oh, this is a hot take." Guys, you're forgetting he's still so young. Why are you going to give up on Nylander already? He's overpaid. Give me a break, guys. He's going to be fine. He didn't have a full season this year. When he was playing with Austin Matthews, which he should, they made each other better. He is going to be fine next season, and he is not getting traded. You're wasting your time by saying he's going to get traded. It is 1,000,000% not happening. Like, I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that this offseason. He's not getting dealt. It's literally never happening. It's not.
I was watching the Winnipeg St. Louis game a couple of days ago or last week, and I was just watching the game, just watching the players skate around because I wasn't really paying attention. And Alex Steen touched the puck, and I was like, "Huh, that's a really interesting name." And then I did a terrible thing, and I looked up the trade tree and all the other stuff that happened with him. But if you look at the Alex Steen trade, and you looked at the elements that went into it and the context behind it, if you trade William Nylander, it's going to be the same damn thing all over again. And you're going to have a guy who's Alex Steen is 35 years old right now, has over 600 career points, over 800 games played, like 300 goals scored, is like a 5, 6, 7, 8 time 20 goal scorer. It's just like just leave it alone. And
Yeah.
all because he had 4 points in the first 20 games when he was like 23 or 24 years old.
Yeah. I mean, this is what I'm going to say to some people in the chat, and they probably will not want to hear this. Guys, how many seasons did it take Patrick Marleau to hit 60 points in his career? I'm pretty sure it took him 8 seasons. It took him 8 years to hit 60 points. William Nylander hit 60 points in his first goddamn full season. You guys need to give him a break. He did it twice in a row.
Back to back.
Yes, he's going to be fine. The problem is he needs to play with Austin Matthews because it makes both of them better. I promise you, next season, it will be unbelievable watching those two back together because they will be fine. Dylan, we've talked a lot about Babcock's future. I guess we can add Isabel's comment into this. She commented that she loved Sheldon Keefe as a coach. By the way, she's a Marley season ticket holder, so she actually watches all the games. He takes risks. He put 2 rookie defensemen. One played his first AHL game, and the other played his second in the playoffs, and it's worked so well. Take risks. I like that, and I think that maybe they're going to – hopefully the Leafs will try that out with their blue line. If my buddy Downtown Stephen Brown is right, the solution is in-house. We'll have to see, man.
There's also another thing that I'd like to point out about Sheldon Keefe that's very interesting with him. When Dubas was assistant general manager and he was kind of running the Marlies, Dubas went to Keefe and he was like, hey, I want to try like a little bit of an experiment here. Let's try 5 forwards on the power play. Let's just forget the idea of even having a defenseman there. They tried it out for like a week or so and it went horrible. They had a whole bunch of shorthanded goals scored against them. But that's not the point. It's not the point that the experiment failed. It's the point that he was willing to try it in the first place.
Yep.
And I just think if you're willing to try something that's that galaxy brain, you'll swap the third and fourth line wingers before there's 7 minutes left in game 7.
Yeah. They I don't know, man. They've got to take some risks, and I think it's gonna like. I know your point was that they could take a risk after the trade deadline, but I'm almost wondering if they'd rather take that risk at the beginning of the season to see what they have.
Well, maybe they won't wait as late as the trade deadline. Like they acquired Muzzin in like early January or something like that, and they gave them about another month to play with the line combinations and figure things out. So maybe they address that like after Christmas. But the one encouraging thing is that Kyle Dubas is not the type of general manager that just sits around all day. Like we saw him even after he got the Matthews contract done. How many extensions was released by the Leafs PR Twitter account? It was like every other day they signed someone. They signed Trevor Moore. They signed Callie Rosen. They signed Garrett Sparks. They re-signed. They traded for Nick Petan. They re-signed Nick Petan. He's a really busy guy. So I have faith and I have trust in him that sometime around after Christmas dinner, he's going to sit down in his study. I think he is the type of guy that has a study in his house, not just an office. There's lots of books everywhere.
Yep.
And he'll make some phone calls and he'll get something done. But I think the beginning of the season is just too early, especially if those younger defensemen aren't ready yet. You have to give them an opportunity to at least show that, hey, in January, are these guys ready to be called up? Just like they were given that opportunity this year, I think they're going to be given that opportunity again next year. Right? And it was only after that Liljegren got injured and we found out that he wasn't going to be called up that they went out and traded for Jake Muzzin.
Yeah. Robinson Joe, I seen your comment saying that I don't offer any constructive criticism about Nylander. Let me just pour some statistics on you real quick. First of all, I think that you've missed what I've said in a lot of my videos, where I said that Nylander is not perfect, nor did I think that he had a great season. Um, we all know the contract dispute. We all know that there was problems with that, and he had a kind of a bad season when it comes to, not really getting his feet under him the whole time. But there was a lot of times this year where oh, were you saying, oh, the people bitching about him? Okay, I thought that you meant that you didn't like Nylander. Anyways, for the people that don't like him, here's a little bit of a stat for you. Scott Wheeler tweeted out on the 23rd, which that was today, right? Well, yesterday. Anyways,
As of 3 minutes ago.
yeah, as of 3 minutes ago, that Marner was outscored 4-1 since game one. And Nylander, who had less ice time, outscored the Bruins 4-1 with 2 center blocks as line mates, basically. And that's 5-on-5 ice time. Also, Nylander's Corsi for was 51%, while Marner's was 45%. And again, people are like, oh, well, look who he's, people will argue like Nylander didn't play as much ice time, but look at who he's playing with. Nylander was playing with Marleau and Brown, whereas Marner was playing with Tavares and Hyman, guys who are better and whatever. And you're saying, oh, they played against the Tavares line played against the top line. Who cares? I do not give a damn. Nylander played with Brown and Marleau, and I'm going to drive that into the ground. There's no reason for a player of that talent to play with Marleau and Brown in some sort of checking skill BS line. It is not going to happen for Nylander if that's where he stays. Once he plays with Matthews, they make each other better. And I keep having to tell people that, but none of you guys understand the Nylander haters. It's going to happen. And I can't wait for you guys to have this energy next season, because Nylander's going to be real good. I promise. It's not a guess. It's a promise.
I think the 51 versus the 45 Corsi is a little bit cherry picking. Like the difference between 51 and 45 isn't that great.
No, but it's still there.
It's not that big. It's still there, but I wouldn't argue that Nylander was better than Marner this playoffs, or that Marner was better than Nylander this playoffs. I think that that there was man, I mean, I really wished we could have seen Mitch Marner play a couple of shifts away from that Bergeron, Marchand, Pasternak line. And we just even the games at home, we didn't get that matchup. We didn't get those, when the Bruins' fourth line was on the ice, we didn't automatically see Tavares and Marner jump over. I really think that Bruce Cassidy did a really, really good job at finding his players the right ice.
Yeah. Anyways, it is already 12 o'clock, and there's a lot of people in the chat, but I think it is time to wrap this up before people's head explodes, because I think a lot of people are asking the same questions, which is not a bad thing. Some people are coming in and out. Trust me, this won't be the last time you hear from us. We're going to be doing live streams, probably some videos regarding the Leafs in the off season. And maybe I'll keep this video up so you guys can watch it, even though it's pretty long. Anyways, thank you guys so much for coming on. Make sure to go and check out Downtown Stephen Brown, all of his social media. You guys know it's on my Twitter. You guys can see him on there, because I tweet him quite often when I need to know things, because he knows things. So thanks for coming on, man.
No, thank you for having me. I just want to ask you one more question.
Okay.
How are you going to get through the off season?
Lots of videos that have to do with trade rumors and fun stuff, because that's what I like to do. How about you?
I am going to laugh at the Edmonton Oilers. I will I will get through my sorrows by laughing at theirs.
All right. Well, I guess that's a good way to do it. So again, thank you guys so much for watching this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.